Would I be the asshole for making my half-siblings take DNA tests? My dad was a pro athlete. He wasn't famous, but he was a steady presence on a team that was. When his career ended after injury, his first wife divorced him, cleaned him out and got custody of their kids, turned his kids against him, and never remarried so she wouldn't lose the alimony payments. When Dad met my mom, his ex threw a fit because Mom came from a poor family, wasn't white, and according to his ex, she was a gold-digging whore because she was pregnant before they got married. My mom died when I was young and we struggled for money between the payments Dad was making and his injuries, lack of education making it hard for him to get a job. My half-brothers were really well off from his support payments and the money from their mom and her close friend she was living with. Whenever they stayed with us, they made it clear that they were only there because of the custody order and that they thought we were trash. When Dad saw how upset they were making me after Mom died, he stopped asking them to come. Dad passed away a few months ago. His will left everything to me, so I'm basically set for a modest life. As adults, my half-brothers never had contact with him, not even on holidays or his birthday. Suddenly they're saying that I'm not his, they're going to compel a DNA test, that I influenced his will and they're taking me to court. I have no doubts that I'm his thanks to a DNA test I already took years ago for non-paternity reasons, that they don't know about. What I am starting to question is if any of them are his sons. Would I be the asshole for agreeing to take a test, but insisting that they have DNA tests too, knowing that I'm not going to give them anything even if they pass? They and their mother treated my parents and me like shit, and I want to know how far the hypocrisy stretches. I also sincerely want to not have any of them actually be my family. Info. What would be the point of demanding DNA tests from these people when it changes nothing? Your father left a will. They are not in the will. DNA does not change that, so what's the point? Info. Have you talked to a lawyer about the legal implications of agreeing to a DNA test or about asking them to take DNA tests? They already aren't your family. Just go and see with them. How would they even compel a test? Did you father have a will that said, my stuff goes to my favorite son, daughter, or did it say, my stuff goes to Op? Not the asshole. They definitely are, but just drop the rope already, for your own mental health. YWNB the asshole, but don't do it. You know you aren't giving them a thing, and rightfully so. They can't compel a DNA test for you and this is just going to further enmesh you. Edit. Thanks for the award. This is not a Reddit question, this is a lawyer question. Talk to a lawyer about how to play this out. Missteps could cost you time and money, legal fees if they contest they will and possibly more if a judge sided with them. Don't trust this to internet advice. Dad passed away a few months ago. His will left everything to me, so I'm basically set for a modest life. Honor the will, ghost the brothers. It was Dad's will, not the asshole. Not the asshole, but doing so would accomplish absolutely nothing. Given what they've said regarding contesting the will, I would suggest that you go ahead and hire an attorney and advise them that in light of their threat of legal action, all future communications are to go through your attorney. Legally, your father is also their father as he was married to their mother at birth and never challenged paternity. DNA is completely irrelevant to his estate. It is also irrelevant to your relationship with them. There is no good reason to continue one not to overrule your father's will. Leave this alone. Be glad that you had the positive relationship with your father than your half-siblings did not. Info. How are you struggling if your dad was able to give you enough inheritance to be set for life? Not the asshole, but I would advise you consult with an attorney, and go completely no contact ASAP. YWNBTA. I mean, if they demand you take a DNA test, you can certainly demand one back. I don't think you'd be the asshole, but I do think you'd be opening a door they could and would walk through. Block them on everything. Move. Be satisfied knowing that your silence, their no inheritance upsets them more than anything else you could possibly do. I'm so sorry for your losses. I hope the next stages in your life are filled with joy. Not the asshole. I mean, you don't have to go so far as then DNA test to tell them no. But if you want to be petty and drive them crazy, go for it. Still not an asshole move emo. Do not speak to them. Leave all of this to your lawyer or else anything you say or imply may come up in court if it gets this far. Not the asshole, obviously, but let the lawyers handle it. Sure, it may feel good to stick it to them, but is that feeling worth the possibility of jeopardizing your case? Better to let someone else who is an expert handle it. It's what you pay them for. Talk to a lawyer. Don't do anything at all that you are not compelled to do by the court. It's opening you up for shit that may not exist if you do. Talk to a lawyer. Stop talking to these people. WIBTA. You've already decided what you're going to do, and a DNA test adds nothing. On the minus side, a DNA test has profound privacy implications well beyond this little piece of family. Cut them off and be done with it. Not the asshole, and do it. Do it. Make them take the test. Aha. Not the asshole, but I wouldn't even waste time with making them take a DNA test. Just take your money, live a good life, and let your lawyer handle their BS. That'll make them angrier than any DNA test result. Consult with a lawyer. This is above our pay grade, I think. Cut contact and let the lawyers handle everything. You can't compel anyone to get a DNA test, and they have no grounds to contest the will. Hand everything to the probate attorney and lose their numbers. Not the asshole. You can ask them to do DNA tests, but they may well refuse to do so, and you can't compel them. I think your dad left you his estate not because you influenced him, but because the older sons didn't want anything to do with him except be supported by him. It sounds like they haven't changed a bit. Don't give them a penny. Well, the rats do come out of the woodwork when someone passes. I am sorry you are going through all this and I do wish you the best. Your father clearly loved you. It's a pity your half-siblings are such entitled individuals. Not the asshole. Edit. Also, can we get an update at a later date after all this is hopefully over for you? NTA, but there is no point, cause you can't sue them for all the cash they got over the years if they aren't his. But they can sue you for your inheritance if they are, and make you blow through anything trying to fight them. Tit for tat is wasting everyone's time. Just cut them off and move on with your life. Not the asshole, because DNA tests aside, he willed you everything. Why even bother with the tests? Not the asshole. You are only giving what you are getting. And while I think it would also be fun to see their faces when you ask, I agree with others about checking with an attorney. But here's a different thought. Even if you take a DNA test for them and they see you are his, would they even believe it? They sound like people who have made their mind up and facts might just not matter. Is there a win in this situation to do it? Also, do you need a DNA test to see that they are his? Do they look like him? People have shitastic relatives all the time. You may not have wanted to see a resemblance in the faces of your tormentors, but it doesn't mean it's not there. They cannot contest the will based upon DNA. He could have left everything to an anthill if he wanted. Don't bother with your relatives. Not the asshole. If the siblings failed a paternity test, is there any way first wife could be sued, ordered to pay back all that money if she was shown to have cheated? Totally not the asshole. Please do the tests and close out that nonsense once and for all. I'm sorry for everything you went through, but this is a silly post. Yes, I believe it would be an asshole move to intentionally drag these people through the mud now. If you don't want to have anything to do with them, then don't. Don't call, don't write, don't go get DNA tests together. It sounds like you'd easily win the case if they took you to court, so let it go. What you're talking about doing is called pouring salt in the wound. You've probably won already. No need to run up the scoreboard. Not the asshole, but don't do it. I think you know what the results will be deep down. Not the asshole, but don't bother. Don't take their calls. They are jerks. I might be tempted to point out the irony of their mom calling yours a gold digger. But only in the final message. Say bye, and be done with them. You owe them nothing. First and foremost, I'm so sorry you have lost both parents. I love my dad at 15 and it still hurts 15 years later. You need to fully cut them from your life. It will not make a bit of difference if they are your real siblings. Hanging on and entertaining them is not healthy for your own self-growth. Your father left everything to you because you were deserving of it. To hell with your siblings. They are greedy like their mother. Do yourself a favor and block them completely. I think there is a point where you should just say, here's my lawyer, you already know that you are your father's child. The will left what's left of his estate to you. Save yourself the energy these emotional vampires want to take from you. Not the asshole. Check with a lawyer first. Not the asshole. They're trying once again to humiliate you by casting aspersions upon your mom. Turnabout is fair play. Don't take the tests. First, I am so sorry for what you and your parents went through. I'm glad you had their love and I'm sorry for your loss of them. Next. Not the asshole. Absolutely not the asshole. While I love the idea of even just presenting them with this, so funny, I agree in investigating the legal ramifications of all this. I would think that genetic relationship really doesn't matter when a person decides to leave valuable assets to whomever. But we've seen people contest wills, think Anna Nicole Smith, with reasonable doubts. Yep, a good legal investigation. All the best. Not the asshole, but don't even give them the time of day. Go and see and don't let them into your life. Give them each $20 and wish them luck before cutting all contact. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. They suck. Not the asshole. You seem pretty cool and your actions are justified without being too harsh or anything like that. Talk to a lawyer, and ask to see them to see if the will is valid in your state or country. If it is, then their chance of fighting it will be impossible. It will be very hard to fight a legal will. Unless they have very clear reason, no judge will get involved. Well, usually unless they can show that you illegally did something. I fully expect this to be fake. YWB not the asshole otherwise, but others have given advice to not talk to these people anymore, and have a lawyer involved going forward. Not the asshole. You don't need to prove anything to them. Speak to an attorney and know your rights. But I don't think there's anything they can do about being cut from the will. Considering how awful they treated your dad, their assumed entitlement to his estate is gross. Sorry for your loss. The sooner you go and see the better. Don't let them harass you or make you unhappy. You would be the asshole. You are the asshole. If you try to get them to do a test if you don't intend to give them anything anyway. It's unnecessarily petty and you're best served cutting contact than twisting the knife that they got shafted in the will.